another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is, game, set, and match.
Hello and welcome to the 2024-2025 APTA Tour. We're live from the Montclair Golf Club in Montclair, New Jersey, bringing you the Montclair Open with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors Volley and Corian. Tournament support has been provided by local sponsors Arid Performance, Associated Fire Protection, Master Athletics, Freddie Miranda and Ann McCarthy from Sotheby's International Realty, Spiro Harrison Nelson, New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association, New Jersey Women's Platform Tennis League, and New Jersey Flex League. I'm David Broderick, along with Hall of Famer Patty Hogan, bringing you the men's final match between Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar, taking on Mick Irdoja and Graham McNerney. Patty, welcome, and this is going to be, I think, an exciting match today that is underway.
I can't wait, Dave. That's on the far side in the deuce court, that's Jose Salazar. In the ad court, that's Alvi Regalado. On the near side, who just hit that ball with the white t-shirt and the beautiful long blonde hair, Graham McNerney. And he's partnered up with our tournament director, Mick Irdoja, for a men's final action. This is a 2-out-3 set regular scoring match. And Dave, this is going to be something.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this match. I saw last night when the matchups came out and the semifinals were over that, this has to be, a possibility that it could be an epic match, a classic paddle match, as you may want to call it, right from the beginning. I think
an instant classic, Dave.
I think it could be an instant classic. I mean, once could be really great. I mean, you have the explosiveness of Mick Irdoja, and Graham McNerney is just solid. He's not going to hit a lot of winners, but he's not going to make any mistakes, really. And then you have Regalado and Salazar, who, as I jokingly tell everyone, they don't do anything except win. So it's really going to be an interesting match. I really believe it's going to be exciting for everyone out there watching.
Yeah, Irdoja, as the host pro, is the defending champ. He won it last year with Scott Kaler. He's teamed up this year with the one and only Graham McNerney, our APTA Cup winner on the men's side last year. We'll talk more about it later in the match. Graham is a warrior. He's never going to miss. Their whole game plan is simple, Dave. McNerney will just put up a million lobs, moving them all around, try to get the opponents a little bit off guard, set up that forehand of Mick Irdoja.
And we see there, Patty, to your point, you didn't even finish saying it, and McNerney hit a great lob. Irdoja had an opening with his forehand. He just missed that volley.
Yeah, we talked about what's the recipe for these teams to have success in this final, and with McNerney and Irdoja, it's simple. And Irdoja, his forehand drive, I saw a little bit of the action yesterday in the semifinal, and he broke down our defending national champions, Nunes and Mark Bowers, with his play. And so all day long, I think that we both agree this match is about Mick Irdoja and his play.
Yeah, and again, we just have seen another forehand where from the middle of the court, Irdoja put it through the team of Regalado and Salazar, and now they're back up at the net.
Dave, what makes Regalado and Salazar such a special team in our game?
Well, I think they play a really simple style, old school play, which means, they just kind of get a lot of balls. They keep a lot of balls back, but when you give them the opportunity, they can hurt you. I mean, they have weapons. You see Irdoja there with a great roller into the nick that outran Salazar. But, I think they just play a traditional style. They keep a lot of balls in play. But, again, when they're on the baseline, they can hurt you. And I think that's, what separates them from a lot of teams. From their net play, they volley really well, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle the forehand of Irdoja.
what I'll be curious about is, as a team, Salazar and Regalado, when they play the net, they just as much as some other teams, and they play a lot of forehand fouls compared to a lot of teams. And I'll just be curious if the Irdoja drive can impact that.
And I think we saw on that last point a little bit of a bonus. McNerney hitting a forehand drive through Regalado and Salazar at the net. And I mean, if they can get a couple of those throughout each set or even one a game, I think that's going to be huge for the team of McNerney and Irdoja. And I think what it'll do is, it'll kind of free Mick up a little bit, Irdoja, and it'll kind of give them more options and more looks.
And it's not that McNerney can't drive, Dave. He doesn't have, no one has a weapon like Irdoja's forehand drive. He is so consistent, and I mean, he didn't miss yesterday, and that's what I'm just watching. I think he's going to get a ton of look, and he brought out that backhand yesterday a lot in the match. Just kind of hides the shot over his shoulder. He's turned really sideways, facing that side screen, and just pulls it out of nowhere. But I think this match is on Mick.
Yeah, and I think early on it's going to be very important. We see matches all the time, as we just did in the women's final, that last for hours. But I think early on is going to be, we're going to see signs as to, how well Mick can get that forehand going, and how well is Regalado and Salazar going to be able to defend it.
Big rip from Irdoja there. And what's interesting, Dave, is Irdoja played one tournament last year, this Montclair event, and won it. And then we didn't see him, throughout the course of the year. And here he is back in the finals again. And we all know a determined Mick Irdoja is almost unstoppable.
Patty, it looks like he was practicing for that year that he wasn't playing tournaments.
That's right.
He didn't take a vacation.
A lot of Salazar are, finalists in last year's Nationals. Pulled off the match of the tournament with their win over Durant Mitchell, probably in the semifinals of that tournament, and came so close, but where Powers and Nunes ultimately prevailed. But I think I'm not a betting person, but if I were a betting person, it'd be tough to get a bet against a team of Salazar and Regalado. Regalado won mixed nationals with B. Lopez last year after nationals, and he is unbelievable. Both of these guys are unbelievable talents, Dave. So such an exciting time in our sports.
Another big forehand there by Irdoja, getting through them at the net. Patty, it's interesting with the overheads that we're seeing so far in this early goings of this match, where, both teams are hitting some heavy, hard rollers at the nick, and then we see a waterfall there by Graham McNerney. So it's going to be interesting to see how the overheads shape up throughout the match.
Dave, your hair looks great today, actually.
A lot better than when I was doing the live interview before.
How do you like that picture?
It's a long time ago.
Dave, a year ago, we go back to this tournament. Salazar didn't even have enough ranking points to qualify for this event. He won the Challenger event, and here he is, ends up the year, a final in the men's national. Quite an epic ascent in our sport. Come on. And they just, the first time I saw them play together as a team, you just knew they were something special. They had a great season last year. They won the Detroit Invitational. We know they were finalists in Nationals. semifinals at Philly. They won the Baltimore Open, which was really the launch of the Baltimore Open, great event by Sam Byron, running that down in the Baltimore area, and they won that, and then they just never looked back, and you just knew they were a team to be reckoned with. They had a semifinal at the Philly Open, and they won the Sound Shore event.
Yeah, no question they had a super solid year, and I don't think this year is going to be much different for them. Where see Salazar there, wishing he had that opportunity to hit that forehand over again.
True or false, Dave? Regalado and Salazar are both from Spain.
True.
Montclair was founded in 1893.
1893. Yeah, I think that's true. And as we watch another big forehand from Irdoja.
Salazar's the director of Sandwich Country Club up in Greenwich, Connecticut. Alvy Regalado lives in Roseland, New Jersey, and he teaches at the beautiful Orange Lawn Club.
You. 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 Help. You.
Patty, again, we're seeing that combination from Irdoja and McNerney of the heavy roller at the corner and the waterfall overhead coming from Graham McNerney.
Yeah, Dave, I caught some of their semifinal action against Nunes and Powers. And I'll tell you, that combination of shots with Graham, I remember years ago, the first time I saw Graham McNerney played, and the amount of down-up overheads that he hits. He's probably 6'4", and he's on top of the net, and he's able to get that ball down and back, where he had Nunes in that match, and Powers, particularly Nunes in the deuce court, really pushed back, really just hanging on for dear life. Dave, do you have your Spanish translator available today in case we need it?
You know what, I can do all right. Maybe we'll see what happens. If not, we'll go to Siri for a couple translations if needed. And just for everyone watching, if you hear them saying "bale bale," I think that means they're telling the other player to hit. From one of my previous conversations with them.
Regalado, Salazar, first set is tied 1-0.
All right, and again, there we have it, Patty. Aiming for the nick, and with the warm weather here in beautiful Montclair, New Jersey. Beautiful day out, and it's getting warmer. It's heating up a little bit. I think that's going to be a big play, is aiming for the nick and trying to catch it, see whoever can hit it more times. You can see Mick Irdoja's forehand's already heated up. That's about the 10th ball he's hit through the net team. McNerney not happy with that overhead going out of the court there.
Sidearm serve there, Dave.
Yeah, maybe trying to keep it a little bit lower so Irdoja's not getting that big swing like he's been showing early on, but he still took a pretty good rip at that one.
I'm just amazed with Regalado and Salazar how from the baseline, Dave, they pose such an incredible threat at all times. You think they're not going to pull the trigger on something, and they can pull the trigger. It seems like from any place on the court at any time.
Patty, when we teach, we talk about trying to figure out what's a safe spot on the court. Where do you want to put it when you're in trouble? With Regalado and Salazar, there really is no safe spot. There's nowhere to put the ball that they can't hurt you from.
Lead the first set, 2-1.
And I'm a big believer when you are at the net and, you know, you have that fear factor. Sometimes you give away free points just because, you know, you're worried about hitting the ball or making it a better shot or where you're trying to hit it. So, you know, I think that's sort of a overlooked advantage or, you know, keys to success that they have, just that ability that they can put pressure on you and hurt you pretty much anywhere from the baseline.
So Graham McNerney serving here. First set, down 1-2. Serving it over to Jose Salazar.
15 low.
Dave, it's good Jose and Alvia are wearing different color hats so we can distinguish them.
Absolutely.
Regalado's got that dark hat in the ad court. Dave, it doesn't take long to talk about all the tournament action that Irdoja saw last year. He was one and done, won this event. And you go over to Graham. He's probably played more events, as many events as anyone in the country. You know, won the APTA Tour Cup. Phenomenal player, pairs up with everybody. You know, they won the Short Hills event. Remember when he paired up with Mark Powers? Mark Powers had stopped playing with John Hughes. Even though we love the team of Hughes and Powers, they paired up, won that Short Hills Invitational. Incredible win. Graham won the charities with Juan Araya, finished third with Juan at Nationals. Played with Eric West, got to the finals. I mean, played with Matic Trogwinski, our volley guy, out in Pittsburgh. They finished third. He's a warrior, and he's just a phenomenal player at the top of our game with just that steady play, Dave. Nothing super exciting, but he never misses. He's got that resolve.
You're 100% right. And, you know, I think to his credit, the one thing that he does really well is he plays within a system of play, so you know what you're going to get from him. You know, he never really hits shots that are going to surprise you or hit to the wrong part of the court. You know, so it kind of makes it easy to play with him when you know what he's doing before he does it.
Yeah, we talk all the time, Dave, about how, you know, successful teams kind of oftentimes will have roles that they slide into during a match, and it doesn't really change, and, you know, until they need to make a tactical change. So, you know, you're spot on that. I love that. Irdoja knows exactly what to expect from Graham and McNerney, and get an early jump on shots as a result of that. I think a lot of people think they're going to surprise their opponent, and they end up surprising their own partner
right.
more of the time in club level play. Shout out to former APTA president Tiernan Cavana, enjoying the action, Dave, and always enjoying listening to you.
Oh, perfect. Well, it's good to see that Tiernan's out there watching, and hopefully she's enjoying the live action here.
I think she's actually headed to the Y up in Connecticut, Dave, working on her back flip, which I saw her pull off in Lake Champlain this summer.
Sounds dangerous.
I haven't seen you do any kind of flip, Dave.
No, the triple Lindy. All right, McNerney serving here, 5:30 on serve at 1-2.
If you look into your crystal ball, what do you see? 3-hour match?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a long one. You know, I think a combination of the 4 guys on the court, the weather, you know, everyone's competitive quickness to win. I don't see this going. I don't see this being a quick match.
Well, I think all 4 players understand, you know, there's no easy point at this level in the sport. Every point is going to be a grind, and they come out here and they probably expect 3 to 4 hours would be my guess. As commentators, we would like that to be closer to 3 hours.
I think something else, you watch all 4 players that are out on the court right now, their anticipation to close the net when they know the baseline team is going to drive the ball is pretty special. You know, there have been several occasions that each player has literally been on top of the net knowing that a drive is coming, and that just makes volleying so much easier. Like you watch right there, even Graham jumping on top of the net, forcing that ball back to Mick, but you just see the anticipation. You see him right on top of the net right there, and you know, that's another one of those special skills that we don't talk about a lot, and it's hard to teach it, but these 4 guys all possess it.
Yeah, you got to know when to close, and it's easy to close and get on top of the net. I think when you're 6'4", right, Dave?
It does help.
You wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know.
It definitely helps.
And the fact that when you're playing with a former Estonian Davis Cup player, that you can get on top of the net no matter what. He's got your backside on the next shot.
So we have a break point here for Regalado Salazar in the first set here of the Montclair Open. Patty, do you think with the weather and, you know, mostly with the weather and the temperature, do you think the traditional quote-unquote side back or backside overheads, do you think they're going to have an impact on this match, or do you think it's really aiming at the nick, and who can hit the nick and who can defend the nick is going to probably prevail?
I'm thinking the way you asked that question, there's one way to answer it, Dave, so I'm going to go. Yeah, you know, they're not going to get a lot out of, you know, hitting really flat hard side backs or backsides is not going to do anything against these guys. I think your point is they're going to open up the court a little bit with those rollers, some slashes, and then when they have that open corner, because they've created that, you know, taking a shot right at the nick and hoping you get lucky.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm not saying that these guys are just going to start bashing and dashing and hitting the ball side to side all over the place. But I don't think we're going to see as many backsides or side back overheads that we would normally see. You know, it just looks like these guys, when they have the opportunity, they know their best bet right now is going to be trying to get that ball to hit the nick and outrun the baseline team, or hope that they misread it. But, you know, right now that seems to be the way that most points are finishing.
Dave, someone in the chat has a question for you. Jason Spitz wants to know, if these guys were playing tennis, and this was the matchup, who would prevail?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think we might have to go with Regalado Salazar. But
I think I would bet the same way.
But again, always say that with hesitation, is, you know, with Mick on the court, with Irdoja on the court, you always have a chance.
You can just see how effortless it is for McNerney. You know, he closes the net, he gets on top. When he sees a lob, he takes 1 or 2 steps with his step, Covers about 4 yards.
Advantage, Regalado, Salazar.
And we see there, especially Jose Salazar, his ability to defend the nick on Irdoja's rollers. I think that's what kind of created that mistake where Irdoja just tried to do too much, tried to finish the point, or really try to find that nick. So we got to, you know, as much as that's an unforced error, I also believe that Salazar kind of forced that with his great screenplay.
Salazar, they lead the first set 3-1.
Aprieta ahora, aprieta. A por ello, brother, vamos. Dale, dale.
All right, Patty, and Regalado Salazar up 3-1. Let's see what happens here at this serve. If they can gain some separation here in the first set.
15 love.
Dave, what makes Mick Irdoja's forehand so unbelievably good?
His technique is very good. He makes solid contact
specifically?
in front of him.
Yeah, what about his technique?
You know, he
For
just
those at home who might want to copy it.
he has a short, compact swing. He has the paddle back early before the ball bounces. You know, he doesn't hit many balls. He's always, when he's off balance, you know, I think when he hits the ball and he's balanced, I think that's just a big part of it. And again, he doesn't try to drive the ball from behind his body. He's always making contact out in front of him.
¿Tienes tiempo?
Dave, that sun was brutal earlier. Now it looks like an hour later here, not so much of a factor for these guys.
Yeah, I think it, you know, it's definitely a little bit more tolerable for the players that are going to be away from the clubhouse. And there we see Roller finally hitting into the nick there, outrunning Salazar. But, you know, so far Salazar still seems to be winning the battle of playing that corner over there.
Who's hit the most nick rollers you've ever seen as a player, Dave?
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the newest inductee into the Hall of Fame, Mark Parsons.
That's who I was going to
Uncanny.
say. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Uncanny ability, and congrats to Mark Parsons. He played in this tournament with Juan Araya. Mark Mosley is out of the game, teaching a ton, focused on his kids. He's got super talented kids who are daughter big-time swimmer, and Maddox has gone to the football side. He's gone to the dart side. Really great athlete. Both of their kids. So that's where Mark's focused most of his time right now. Hey, Dave.
Yep.
So McNerney's out here. He's the only non-pro on the court. He's the consultant. You know where he learned to play platform tennis? Any idea?
I don't. No, I don't.
You. True or false? Atlanta, Georgia.
You know what? That I would have to say true. I do think, I believe I've heard that before.
Shout out to Peter Lauer's done a phenomenal job. Always growing Atlanta paddle from the very beginning. I remember going down there 25 years ago. Group of people, including Mark Fischel, Scott Estes. Peter Lauer was a great organizer, and the game just took off in Atlanta. They have a 50 grand public access courts. Just phenomenal facility. Kudos to Peter, and glad Peter just chimed in on the live stream to remind us Graham was not a college tennis player. but was introduced to the game when he was living in Georgia.
Just clearly white.
40-30.
Right here. Pass, wait.
Big swing there, big swing. Missed volley and then a missed drive wide. See if McNerney and Irdoja can get this back to.
Oh, see.
Game Regalado Salazar. They lead the first set 4-1.
Dave, are you curious about what volley can do for your club?
I would love
Fiddler's
to hear.
Elbow?
Absolutely.
Here's a great offer. Get 30 club friends together, and you'll all get a free 30-day trial. It's a perfect way to see how Volley's AI power trainers and tools can help everyone improve and track their progress. To get started, just scan the QR code at the tournament tent or visit getvolley.com/myclub. Don't miss out. Bring Volley to your club and elevate your game together.
All right, well, now I'm going to have to find 29 other people.
And it said friends, Dave. You got that covered easy, right?
I'm going to have to see. Check the Rolodex.
Dave, you got friends covered, and you don't even have to get past B in the alphabet. So Regalado Salazar up 4-1. We are at the finals of the Montclair Open, the first stop on the APTA Tour event for the 23-24 season. I'm Patty Hogan along with Diamond Dave Broderick. Calling the action like we see it. Now, before we went on the air, Dave, we did have a little bit of a talk, and I asked you who you thought, what was going to be the difference of the match, who you thought would pull it out, and both of us were thinking Mick's got to play an outstanding match in order for Irdoja, McNerney to pull this out, where I think both of us feel so strongly about how steady Salazar, Regalado, how talented. I mean, they have no weakness that I can see in the game, Dave, and how they manage themselves, how they manage, you know, the match, the score throughout. I am so impressed with them, and, you know, their 4-1 early lead here isn't surprising.
No, and, you know, I was just thinking about where I would wish I could use some of my knowledge to dazzle our viewers with some great insight on why the score is 4-1 right now. But, you know, whether it's been forced or unforced errors, Regalado and Salazar just haven't made many mistakes. And that's the difference.
So I feel like they have the perfect combination, Dave, of like knowing when to wait it out and then knowing when to pull the trigger. And their decision making, you know, pretty incredible for two really young guys.
Right, and no, I agree 1,000%. And I've been, you know, saying that, watching them for the last year, and then even earlier on this year, we got to see them sort of in preseason. And they make great decisions. I mean, if you go back to a point, you know, in the previous game, there was a ball where, you know, Salazar could have tried to volley it, but he chose to let the ball go. And, you know, 250 shots later, they wind up winning the point because he let that ball go and just made a great decision. Again, I think right now in this match, I don't think Irdoja is hitting bad overheads. I just think Salazar and Regalado are doing a great job of defending and covering the nick, and you see that quick trigger right there on the forehand that, you know, we talked about. They do possess that ability.
What coverage, Dave. Incredible.
Well, I guess the question has to be, like, what does Irdoja and McNerney have to do to win a point after what we've just watched?
Well, last year in the finals of nationals, we saw Nunes go after Salazar a little bit in that deuce court, Dave. And I think that's, you know, Irdoja hits a different kind of overhead than Nunes. But that was a successful play for them. that kind of broke down Salazar Regalado a little bit there last year. So you know, Nick can adjust his overhead slightly, hit it a little bit more like Nunes, who probably lets the ball drop a little lower, like in the cut slash kind of family, Dave, versus the roll family. Does that make sense?
You know, absolutely.
Dave, what's your go-to overhead, the roller or the slash?
Mine, it's the flat side back. Hope that somebody misses. It's the first mistake we've seen from Regalado Salazar in quite a while. Patty, I just want to let you know that they're watching us down in Hilton Head. It might be warmer in New Jersey right now than it is in Hilton Head, but just want to say hi to Dan Santorum, CEO of Rackets Professional Organization, RPO, new teaching organization out there. Dan, big supporter of platform tennis. So I want to say hello to him.
Dave, you think Irdoja feels pressure being the host and defending champ here?
I talked to him beforehand, and no, I wouldn't say pressure is the word. You know, I think because he doesn't play a full schedule or as many events as a lot of the other guys, you know, I think he maybe takes a little bit of pressure off him. You know, he knows this is one of maybe a couple that he can just kind of come out and play and do his thing. And, you know, he was pretty relaxed before the match when I was talking to him.
One of our viewers in the chat asked that question. Keep firing away those questions. Shout out to Griffin Kramer. Remember Griffin from the juniors, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we talked about how Graham learned paddle in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to the 20th annual P3 Invitational, February 20th. Great event. All the players just love going down to Atlanta for that event. Great spot in February. Great event.
You see there again another super athletic point by all the players on the court. A little bit of a letdown right there.
Irdoja McNerney. Regalado Salazar lead the first set, 4-2.
Patty,
Dave, no matter how you say it, Yahimski, Yachimski, I say his name wrong all the time. Mike is just, he's the most phenomenal APTA umpire in my opinion. Does a great job, always willing to help out. Junior Nationals every year, I call him up, I go, it's that time. He's like, I got the day set aside, Patty, what do you need? Shows up an hour and a half early, says, do you need me to grab some water bottles? You need me to do anything? And goes above and beyond for our sport. Great member of the beautiful Indian Trail Club up in Franklin Lakes, where Anthony Cosmano is the director of rackets for paddle and pickle.
Yeah, Mike's also, there was a ball that Mick thought it was wide, called it wide, and Mike Yashimski, our chair umpire, he agreed with him.
And that's the thing, Dave. Mike makes the call and no one argues.
And I think, you know, that's a really good thing for all the players, too, knowing that, you know, when they're out there, anytime they have a question or a discrepancy, that, you know, when you trust the decision of the person that's up in the chair, I think it just makes your job a lot easier just to go out there and just play.
That's Alvi Regalado serving. And that's Graham McNerney hitting the return out of that ad court. And rip the backhand drive. I think he saw his partner do that a few times already, and he was copying him.
30-0.
We see there Mick missing a wide forehand, and, you know, again, I don't think on a day like today with the weather, there's a benefit of hitting the ball away from the net team. It's going to come back to them. They're going to get it. So, you know, hit it to them and let them make it or miss it. And by the way, those were just 2 amazing gets by Irdoja out of that forehand corner.
Vale. Tuya, 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 tuya. Vale. Tuya. Tuya, tuya, tuya. 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 Tuya, 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 tuya. Vale. Tuya, 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 tuya. Vale.
Dave, how come when Alvy says mom, it's only 1 time, when he says it to Jose Salazar, he's 3 times?
I don't
Oh,
know.
he didn't do it there.
Tuya, tuya, tuya.
Make sure he's listening.
Make sure he's paying attention.
Tuya, tuya, tuya. Tuya. Tuya, 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 tuya. Vale. Tuya.
Help. You on you.
Tuya, 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 tuya. Tuya, tuya. Vale, vale. Tuya. Tuya. Vale. Tuya.
You see on some of these overheads going towards the nick, we're seeing a lot more balls today getting blocked before they get to the screen than we normally would. And a big part of that is just, again, the weather. And I don't think the baseline players are willing to let that ball hit the nick and sort of run away from them.
Right, they don't want to chase it down.
Right.
Yep, and that's your point, Dave. Again, another spot-on observation.
Come on. 30, 40.
You look at that point, it goes on, and you think he thought it was going to be another lob from McNerney there, and just got an easy volley error. You don't see too many of that ever.
Right. And, Patty, I try to explain to people, no matter what level it is, if you make the other team hit 100 balls, they're going to miss more of them than if you only make them hit 5 balls. And, you see right now McNerney and Irdoja are really sort of grinding out points, because I don't think at this stage of the game they can really afford to play loose points and give away many points right now.
Yeah, you're right. They've got to keep it in play, keep it in play. I mean, not much separation, 4-2 here, and you're right. They just have to, it's a waiting game. This reminds you a little bit of old school paddle, Dave.
No,
You can see Irdoja and McNerney are totally disciplined. They have an approach. They're not going to go from it no matter what. And they're just going to make, Salazar and Regalado hit maybe 200 balls in every point.
Yeah, no, the points have been going on and on. I mean, these are really good long points. And, I have the luxury of talking to a lot of these top guys. And, they all tell you it's all fun and games until it comes down to, it's time to decide who's going to win and lose. And then it just goes back to the basics of keep the ball in play, drive it when you get a chance, try to move your lobs around, create some opportunities. And, for a lot of them, they seem to think that as the matches get later and later and deeper into the tournament, the game plan just gets easier and easier, that it just gets more basic.
Yes, come on. Come on.
All right, we see McNerney hitting the nick there, one of the few times. But, Patty, it's interesting to see that, Salazar and Regalado have created some separation. And, as much as Irdoja and McNerney have been hitting great overheads, luckily they're hitting the nick at the right time, and they've gotten a couple of, big points where they've come up with some big shots to keep them alive here in the first set.
Yep, Irdoja McNerney took out Nunes and Powers, our defending national champs, in their semifinals. McNerney and Irdoja beat Russell Benkheim and Monik Jurinsky in their quarter. Nunes and Powers had taken out Araya Parsons on the top half of the draw. Regalado Salazar got here by taking out the team of Bostrom and Ong in their semifinal match, and they beat Broderick and Montclair in their in quarterfinal action. Really fun showing on the men's side. Lots of really highly competitive teams.
Yeah, we've had a lot of really good matches early on in the first tournament of the year. The weather's been phenomenal all weekend. And, you know, again, here we go. McNerney serving at 3-4, back on serve. And we see another ball hitting the nick there. And, yeah, right now that seems to be the way to win points. Here again, we see McNerney getting literally on top of the net to make that volley. Tell you, from all of our conversations, I like that drive. He got it over the net. He made them make a decision as to play it or not. But as we talked about, I think for McNerney and Irdoja, they're gonna sort of win or lose on mixed forehand.
Yep. Salazar just had a quick release there. He recognized that Irdoja and McNerney were a little bit out of sorts. They were looking to switch as a lefty-righty team. Salazar got a quick jump on that, picked it up, and won the point. Forced the volley error.
I think right now at deuce, I think this is a huge game for McNerney Irdoja after being up 40-love, and now it's back to deuce. I think right now this is way more of an important game for the first set for them than it is for Regalado Salazar.
And Dave, when McNerney and Irdoja won that last game, you heard the fight from the crowd. Like, Mick's got the home crowd. He's got them packed in here, and when he can feed off their energy, watch out.
You see there, we have a break point here for Regalado Salazar.
Yeah, Regalado, he's every shot in the book, and what did he do with that return? He put it in play. All he did was block the ball back cross court, just put the ball in play to start the point. These guys give away nothing. They never miss a return to serve. Is never too strong, Dave?
No, but it's pretty accurate. The great Hank Irvine used to say, you get one missed return and one missed serve a set.
Let's go! Team Regalado Salazar, they lead the first set, 5-3.
That was louder than Mick's cheer right at when they won that game, Dave, to go 4-3.
As I said, it's that was an important game, being down Love 40 and coming back and breaking serve, and now they're serving for the first set. I like this, just taking a moment there. I think Jose said to Alvey, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and that's great. We won the game, but we still have another one to win.
The thing that makes them such an incredible team, Dave, on top of everything else we talk about, like in this moment, they have the lead 5-3, slight separation, but it won't speed up their play at all. They're not eager, you know, they're not trying to win the set outright. They're just plodding through, and they know it's going to take however many shots it takes, and they never seem to have that urgency, you know, in them as players, which is quite remarkable to watch.
Well, I also think that a lot of people that play platform tennis, you know, they don't realize that right now that Salazar and Regalado know that Irdoja and McNerney, they know they can't lose this game. So what are they going to do? They're going to play more patient. They're going to keep more balls in play. So they can't rush, or they can't try to do more than they have to, because it could turn into a losing game plan. Like this game, Irdoja and McNerney have to play super solid. I mean, there's nothing you could do about that shot right there, but, you know, they have to just play a super solid game, hit good solid shots, and make really good decisions. Otherwise, they're going to have an uphill battle going forward.
And Dave, how many good decisions do you have to make in a point? It's 200 sometimes.
Well, it's not only 200 decisions, it's you might have to hit 200 winners to win a point. You might have to win the point 200 times to actually win it once.
And your point is, there are winners against certain levels in the sport, but against the top guys in the game, top women in the game, it's so hard to hit a winner. That's
right.
Why the game is still defensive-minded by the nature of it. Dave, shout out to David Chelson up in Maine enjoying the action. Thanks, Master, for being one of the tournament sponsors. There we go. That's a little bit of the Nunez overhead, Dave. You see what I'm talking about?
Right, yeah, he's starting to carve it into that side screen a little bit.
I think that's what he's got to do.
And I think part of
and I don't think he has to carve it, Dave, into the side screen. I think he can just hit it right at Jose, and if it goes by him, then it hits the back and goes to the side.
Right. And again,
I'm thinking.
And I think that's going to be a good play, because it's also going to create open space, and it's going to create movement. So I also think that Salazar's doing a good job over in that corner now. We've seen a couple times when they've tried to go into a little bit more of a waterfall overhead to him, where he's taking them and hitting them as overheads.
And Salazar, Dave, what's he doing? What do these guys do that lets them block back these very heavy with spin type of overheads? What's the key to it, Dave, in your opinion?
Again, I think they're, you know, taking the ball out in front. They're not taking big swings. You know, I think a lot of times what people don't realize is, you know, a lot of time the baseline team is just trying to get the ball back. You know, even if it's a really good overhead, or if they're not trying to do more than they can with the ball. They can only do what they're given. And, you know, sometimes, like we're watching Salazar, and I mean, one of the best things that he's doing right now is just getting a million balls back, and we've seen that type of play and mentality winning him, you know, winning them some points here on some loose mistakes. I was ready to give him a 9.2 with the twist. But again, we see another ball coming out of the nick in the corner that's creating a little bit of havoc for the baseline team.
Did he make that, Dave?
He did not. No, I don't think he was ready for the ball to go to that spot. He was looking for something more to the middle. And we have our first set point for Regalado Salazar.
Love the play from McNerney. Out of nowhere, just knew that Irdoja was going to hit another dipping ball and took a chance and let him take over the net.
And I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing that all that, as great of a play as it was, it just got them at the net. And I mean, it was a great drive, it was a great volley, and a great get by Regalado. And basically what it did was it got him up to the net.
Really good overhead from McNerney right there. The ball just died coming down that back screen. Hey, maybe McNerney has to hit some more overheads, Dave.
You know, there's something to be said about that where, you know, if they keep peppering Salazar over in the corner there, at some point, I think Salazar is going to gain confidence, and he might actually get better throughout the course of the match by keeping it over there. You know, so maybe Graham hitting a few more overheads with this spin over to Regalado. Maybe that might not be a bad play to mix things up a little bit. You know, again, we've seen McNerney hitting a lot of waterfall overheads, that soft shot into the corner, and Regalado seems to be playing them pretty well. Maybe he needs to switch it up a little bit and hit a few more cut balls into the side screen. Because again, on that last overhead, Irdoja hit the nick. There's not much more he could do. He's hitting great overheads. And Salazar was almost at the net returning it.
Dave, how good is Regalado? He just hangs out. I mean, Salazar may see 20 goals a year. Regalado, he always has composure and discipline. He's quite amazing to watch.
All right, here we go. Set point number 3. All right, Patty, we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by ProFlight.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome to the Cutter Challenge, brought to you by Volley.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Montclair Open in Montclair, New Jersey, bringing you the men's final of the 2024 Montclair Open. You're watching a match between Mick Irdoja and Graham McNerney taking on Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar. Regalado Salazar won the first set. 6 games to 3. I'm David Broderick along with Patty Hogan bringing you live coverage. Patty, what did you think about that first set? It was definitely entertaining and exciting.
Really entertaining and exciting, Dave. And just, again, we say it over and over, but so impressed with the play, from Salazar, Regalado. We don't see any kinks in their game. There's no apparent weakness. They're willing to wait out these points. They can pull the trigger when they need to. I think it's up to Irdoja and McNerney to make some slight tactical adjustments, which we alluded to. And I referred to that Nunes overhead because that was the one that was effective against Salazar in that deuce corner in the finals of men's nationals last year. We saw one thing where McNerney hasn't hit that many overheads. We're talking about maybe does he get some more looks? But it's dangerous because he's going over into that ad court corner with Regalado. And Regalado, I'm just floored by his ability to not play a lot of shots, and then boom, the ball ends up on his paddle, and he can pull out. He's got a magic wand in his paddle over there in that ad court, Alvi Regalado.
And their first point of the second set from Irdoja, we saw a little bit of a different variety of overhead, and he got an unforced error. But to your point, yeah, I thought it was a really good first set, and I think at the end of the day, it was about 4 points throughout the course of the first set made a difference, and it wasn't a huge difference, but obviously there has to be something. And I bring up that game where McNerney or Irdoja were up 40-love and ended up getting broken. I just thought that was a really big game.
David, like in the women's final, you look at it, and it's a shame any team loses, and where the separation is so minimal out there, and it's just a couple of points in either direction. And your point about how the game constantly is changing, but in the pressure moments, it does seem like it comes back to a more of a waiting game, even at the highest level in the sport, where they have every explosive shot, at the ready, at their disposal, but no one wants to miss.
Right, and I think a lot of people that tune in and watch, sometimes, well, why don't they do this? If they can hit that shot, why don't? Because sometimes, it's not worth the risk knowing that the ball is going to come back. And, we talk about decision making a lot, and it's a really, fine line and a balance as to, going for a shot that's going to put pressure on the other team without risking you making a mistake.
Dave, do you agree that Irdoja and McNerney have to do something a little different to turn this match? Or do you think they can just play the waiting game here and play the match like they played the first set? I mean, that's kind of a stupid question I just asked you, but you understand what I'm asking you.
I do, but it's really not. I mean, again, it's as much as I'd like to show off and say amazing things, it's all pretty simple where, like, I think a difference is going to be like right there, Irdoja loads up on a bunch of forehands where in the first set, that third ball was going long or was going wide, where this time he kind of kept it down the middle and he got lucky with a let cord. I don't think they need to do anything different other than make a few less mistakes, quite honestly. And again, if they were to do that and, we play this set exactly the way the first set went, minus a couple of mistakes from McNerney and Irdoja, we're going to go to a third set.
Right.
Again, I don't think any team has that magic potion of we're going to win the set in a bottle. There's nothing out there to do that. It comes down to making, missing, and good decision making and executing. I also think, again, the majority of these overheads have been rollers from Irdoja into the corner of Salazar, and you know what? He's done a really good job. And, you know, you do have to give credit when credit is due.
Wow.
40-30.
Okay, Dave, that's all you have to do to win a point against these guys.
You know, and after watching that point, here's the $1 million question. Is Irdoja McNerney willing to play 2 more sets of points like that to win the match? Because that's what they're going to have to do, or at least that's the mentality they have to have. See, like, I think that forehand just has to go down the middle. I wouldn't say to lob it. I wouldn't say do anything different. I just think, you know, it's got to go to the middle of the court. Even if that ball lands on the line, Salazar's getting it. And again, all you're doing is you're transitioning from the baseline to the net, and not a whole lot is happening where, you know, make Salazar or Regalado, make one of them hit a volley.
Regalado, Salazar.
I also don't like seeing from McNerney, Irdoja, when they have a couple of these losing points in bunches, and the points start getting fast.
Right.
You know, but again,
down up.
You know,
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
That's right. To your point, you know, that down up overhead. I mean, listen, Salazar missed it, but he's going to make McNerney think about doing it again by his movement forward, looking to attack. Patty, question for you. In all the points that we've played, how many balls have Regalado Salazar missed wide from the baseline?
0.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. You know, and I think that's another key factor to this is, you know, at some point someone's going to miss a shot. But I think there's the right place to miss it and the wrong place to miss it. And, you know, at this level, I don't think these guys can afford to miss balls wide, especially when that next shot is coming back for sure. And again, there's my point right there. Irdoja's hit that same forehand off the back screen at least 10 times in this match. But if he's going to aim and miss it wide, it's not really helping his team. He took that one, same exact play, drove it down the middle, allows McNerney to go, close in the net, and put away the volley.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you. How come Irdoja, when he was in that game, a couple times stayed back on his serve?
Well, I think it was a couple things. One, you know, Regalado has an amazing forehand drive, return to serve. But I think more importantly, Mick understood that, you know, being in the point was way more important than him coming in and making a first volley. You know, I think these guys, they all understand that they've won at least one other point in the match from the baseline, so why not just stay back and get the point started? Because if I won 1 point, maybe I can win 2 points. But, you know, I think they realize the importance of getting the point started at key moments. And, you know, it may not have been, you know, it may not have been conventional serve and volley, but you know what, it worked out for them. And at this stage of the game, you know, it's the little tweaks and little decisions that the players make that can, you know, get them back on track.
I got a short answer for that question, Dave. I asked you first.
Okay.
I knew yours would be longer than mine. Mine is, in the moment, what he was feeling, he wanted another drive. He was having success right there, feeling it, and he just wanted to keep going with it rather than play the net where they've struggled to figure out ways to break down Salazar, Regalado.
Right. No, it's...
Dave, we're both right as always.
You just know I like to talk more.
Dave, you're going to get to talk. We have an interview coming up after the third game. Jenny Sowers, who played in the PTI event this weekend on behalf of Corient.
Yeah, one of the tour sponsors.
Hey, you know, and Dave, she's a baller. What an amazing thing. She played the women's PTI on Friday, and she also played the tour event yesterday. Gotta love that passion for paddle.
And she's back here on Sunday.
See, I kind of like this, giving Irdoja a little bit of a breather on the overheads and letting McNerney hit him. Hit some.
Patty, I'm about to say something to your point of having Graham hit some of the overheads over to Regalado that some of our viewers may actually laugh out loud about. But, you know, I think the other thing is that Salazar, as much as he looks like he's, you know, self-defense over there, he is kind of getting comfortable with the more balls that they're hitting to him.
You know, Dave, that's a great point, and you made it a little while ago. And I think that's really true. And the same thing happened with him in the national finals. I mean, as the match went on, he definitely became more comfortable. But Nunez's overhead was a big factor in their win.
I mean, look, when Irdoja is hitting the roller into Salazar 10 times in a row, he's been 10 for 10 quite a bit. But, you know, if he now has to play the ball out of that corner, 1 out of every 7 shots, is there going to be, you know, can he get it that one time? Should I say wow?
In Spanish.
15 low.
You know, to what we were saying earlier on, I mean, McNerney and Irdoja won that point 15 times, but they didn't. I mean, they hit some amazing shots. Regalado and Salazar got him back. Oh, my God.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of wow.
Right, when you say they're winning the point, they have to hit 200 winners. The point is, there's very few shots that dent these guys. They're that talented. And you've just got to hit great shot after great shot after great shot. You've got to expect it's going to come back, and expect that you're going to have to hit another great shot.
And to say it again, you know, that was a super long point. McNerney and Irdoja were in control of that point for about 99.9% of it. How are they going to respond on this one? Because like we talked about earlier, you know, you don't want to let teams win points in bunches. You don't want them to go on a roll. You kind of... You don't want one of the teams gaining momentum.
Yeah, over and over. You just see Salazar at that deuce court. He just sets his paddle face early, Dave, firms up his wrist, and just can negate that spin and pace from the Irdoja overhead.
All right, well, now we know what they have to do to win points. Just hit slash overhead winners.
Great ball. No! Get ready! 30-15.
Patty, 3 forehands. How many of them went wide?
None.
None.
But look at that spot here. Irdoja just got Salazar. That's, you know, like we said, these guys play a lot of forehand volleys, and Irdoja has to hit the perfect spot to cause an error, and he finally found that spot on Jose Salazar.
And
you know,
again,
up on that.
his forehand is so big he doesn't have to hit it away from them. They have to be worried about his forehand. He doesn't have to be worried about them volleying it, because eventually, like you said in the previous match, if he gives them enough opportunity, he can break the volley down. He doesn't need to win the point.
And you keep asking me the question, how many shots miss wide? None. You see very few shots at this level ever miss wide.
Right, but in the first set, we did see some balls going wide from the drives.
Drive at him, right, Dave? Not around him.
Drive at them, not around them. I think you taught me to hit it. You hit it at them, not around them. Hit it through them.
Say
hit it through them.
Space can't play your out ball, Dave.
Absolutely.
Hey, Dave, another shout out to one of our sponsors, the New Jersey Women's Platform Tennis League, and their launch. You want to tell people about what they came up with a year ago? Huge new event for all the players in the New Jersey League.
The launch, October 15th. It'll be happening at many clubs throughout New Jersey. Basically, it's a fun-filled morning of platform tennis. I know it's a sold-out event and always a fun morning for the women that participate. This, to your, just kind of to your point, it's the second year of it, and going forward, I don't see it slowing down or stopping. It's open to all the women that play in the New Jersey Women's Platform Tennis League.
Yep, and most leagues have their kickoff first week of play. Came up with this idea. I think it was maybe the brilliant Pam Randazzo's idea to have the launch event where anybody could play at any club, and you kind of go to where you're going to meet up and against other players who you're going to be playing against during the season. Great way, to meet more paddle friends, and the more friends you got, Dave, as you know, then you have way more options for play. Find partners for practice. Find partners for tournament. So really a smart move to kick off the season in a super fun way for all the women.
Well, Patty, I would like to welcome into the booth Jenny Showers from Corian, one of the tour sponsors, and one of the participants in the Montclair Open in several divisions, and she was gracious enough to come back on Sunday and tell us a little bit about her company and, you know, what makes them a perfect fit for platform tennis and all that fun stuff. So, Jenny, welcome. And
hi, Dave. Hi, Patty.
Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So,
Jenny, how fun did you have this weekend playing at both the PTI event and the tour event?
I had so much fun. Yesterday was a tad humbling, but just an incredible opportunity to get out here with some of the best players in the game on the women's side, and really, obviously, it's always a spectacular weekend here at the Montclair Open. We had amazing weather, really, really fun day. Fun couple days. Played in the PTI event with a great partner and teammate here at Montclair, so it was fantastic. So yeah, at Corient, we're really thrilled to be, for our first season, a tour level sponsor here for the APTA Tour. It felt like a natural thing for us to do, being that we've been local sponsors for several years at some of the local events here in northern New Jersey, and there's a ton of overlap in this paddle community with the markets that we serve at Corient. We're a national wealth management firm with significant offices in some of the markets where paddle is most popular: Boston, Chicago, New York Tri-State. So a lot of our advisors and a lot of our clients are active members in this community. So it just felt like a great extension for us to partner with the APTA to sponsor the tour this season.
Well, we're grateful for your involvement, and do you think you'll get any better draws now as a result of your sponsorship?
I think I got to play a little better to get some better draws, but I don't know.
That's right. Well, we can tell you how to lower your PTI. That's with the volley machine.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got to work with John and volley and get out there. Got to work on my top spin forehand. That's my goal for the season.
Patty, I think if Jenny said yes, I think sponsorship to the APTA would have just spiked. Jenny, you guys have sponsored this event for quite a while. And again, now that you're going to be APTA Tour, you know, throughout all the events throughout the country, was there anything in particular that you thought would be a good fit of why this would be a, you know, good sport to get involved with, and you know, anything that really persuaded you to get more involved?
I think the thing that is so special about this sport to me is the community and the participants, whether it be volunteers, players, pros. It's just such a tight-knit and enthusiastic community, and so it's a real opportunity. You know, and again, it's a community that we're already engaged in, so it's really an opportunity to you know, increase our awareness, increase our name recognition. We're a fairly new brand in the wealth management space, so getting that name out there, that, oh, this advisor that I knew at this firm is Corient, and this member of the platform tennis community is involved with Corient, just made a lot of sense. And I think in terms of like the parallels of what we do as financial advisors and this sport, I think there's so many of them. I mean, I've been Uber driving my daughter around this morning, so I just got here for the second set, but listening to you all on the live stream, there's so many parallels. I mean, having a plan, the calmness that comes from having a plan, that's what we do as financial advisors. That's what we're doing every single day with our clients. So I think that there's just so many parallels that I think it made a lot of sense for us.
Patty, I think Corient can help a lot of the people I teach platform tennis. After Jenny just said having a plan is a big thing, because, you know, some people seem to think that on a platform tennis or financially you could just wing it, and that's not the case, unfortunately.
Absolutely not.
Hey, Jenny, you know a lot about Mick Irdoja, don't you?
I do.
What makes him so special?
Oh, gosh.
I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but, you know, you're at Montclair. This is Mick's club.
I feel like a lot of people would tell you it's the big forehand. I would tell you that Mick has built an enterprise here at Montclair. He has changed the game here. He has built an absolutely unbelievable community of rackets players, extending from the most experienced, from you know, top levels in the men's and women's game, to beginners that picked it up in the past 12 months. And these courts, our paddle courts, our pickle courts, our tennis courts are just hopping with activity morning, noon, and night. And that is 100% the tone set by Mick. He's incredible. His energy level is incredible. He cares tremendously about everything he's doing, from digging that ball out of the corner right there to, you know, setting up beginner pickleball nights out here. And he cares about all of it. Ton of passion.
Can I throw in another wow on that get out of the corner? Speaking of what makes him special.
Jenny, when you watch these guys, what shot, what's your dream? What if all you could do is get one shot that you see on display out here? What shot would you love to add to your arsenal?
I mean, when you're talking about like, oh, the shot that's gonna work today is the nick into the corner, like that they can just execute on hitting the nick. I mean, to me, that's happy accident when that happens. Obviously, also as a lefty that plays the deuce court, I would strive to have a forehand that even closely represents what we just said, resembles what we just saw there.
I mean, you used to be a righty, but then when you started playing with Irdoja?
Totally. I met Mick and decided to switch hands. Also, one thing I learned, I'd love to, watching some of their serves is incredible. I learned a little bit yesterday that my underhand serve might not be the best at the higher levels.
Hey, but that's, you don't really know these things. Pros might know, but you got to figure it out on your own time, and that's the benefit of jumping into tournaments, and you jumped into two. One where you probably felt a lot more comfortable than the other, but your takeaways are you learn from every experience, and you're going to become a more disciplined, risk management. That's what Korean platform tennis is all about. It's the perfect union.
Well said.
And I think, Patty, that's a super point about how, you play in a tournament, and I think for a lot of players out there, they don't leave thinking, what do I need to work on, or what worked, what didn't work. And, when you're out playing in tournaments or league matches, I think you have to play the matches to figure out what do I need to work on to get better. And, that's the way all the top players and the rising stars of the game are getting better, where they take the match play information and they go back and, work on the strengths or the weaknesses more than the strengths. I think a lot of players get caught up in, well, this is what I do and this is how I play, and they sort of get stuck in that level where, you have to recognize what's good, bad, and ugly and kind of work on them.
I totally agree. I mean, I came away from Friday saying, I wouldn't have said, okay, my forehand is a problem. I had gotten on the court with, shout out to Jim Kaufman a few weeks ago, and he told me, tournament level, you're going to have to change that forehand a little bit. And I came away from yesterday saying he is spot on. At the sneakers.
Jenny, which PTI event did you play in?
The 30 to 45.
We talked about it earlier, just phenomenal offering from Montclair to be able to host 9 tournaments and 226 total players in this event. Really a remarkable undertaking and phenomenal start to the 2024-25 APTA Tour season.
Patty, I think all our viewers out there, whether they're here at Montclair or watching us on the live stream, I hope that they're as excited as I am for the rest of the season. Just, again, after watching the first weekend, the first stop on the APTA Tour, the matches have been really good, and it's hopefully more to come.
Well, Dave, with year-round play and, Summer League, you saw that new team, B. Lopez and Taya Page. They teamed up. They met on the courts this summer playing up in Connecticut in the Summer League, Dave.
No, and again,
that's why, you know, it's a high level of play right out of the box. You got to be ready for it.
Well, Patty, we're going to thank Jenny for stopping in and telling us a lot about Corian and, you know, how it's a perfect fit being a sponsor for the APTA Tour, and, you know, thank them and her for their generosity and helping support, keep live streaming and our great sport going. So, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we didn't keep you too long, and enjoy the rest of this match.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Patty.
Thank you.
Bye.
15:30.
Who do we have here? 15:30, Alvi Regalado serving. Down 1-2 here in the second set of the men's final at the Montclair Open. Regalado Salazar won the first set, 6-3.
Dave, we talked about how Irdoja is the defending champ of this tournament, having won it with Scott Kaler last year. How remarkable his level of play, not having played a tournament for an entire year. And he comes in and, you know, he's right up there with the best guys in the sport, always.
No, he is one of the best players out there, whether he's playing week in and week out or, you know, he's picking and choosing when he's playing. I mean, he's got amazing athleticism. You know, we talk about the big forehand, you know, and he's a competitor. He's whether he's playing every day or he's not, he's walking on the court expecting that he's going to win. And, you know, that's at the end of the day, that's what he expects to happen. He doesn't think anything else is going to happen. And, you know, it's kind of hard to beat. You know, in our platform tennis, just the design and the way it's played, it's hard to beat someone that's not willing to quit or give away free points.
You know, I kind of like to see Irdoja take one of those drives, you know, up the line, Dave, where Salazar straight ahead from Irdoja is so effective at flipping his paddle over to his forehand. You know, maybe just move that drive a little bit and go right at his body and force him into a traditional backhand volley of all things.
Right, just maybe, again, move it just a touch, just to create a little bit of movement on the paddle from either Regalado or Salazar.
His backhand got another ball.
It's almost like he heard you, Patty.
I just like that play, you know, the down the line drive to keep teams honest sometimes. I think you know, it's really effective on a return from time to time and during play. It's a little bit of the higher part of the net. You know, I just think moving it, you know, you can't underestimate just moving that drive, you know, a target over a yard, how much of a difference it could make. A foot or two will do him.
Help. Vale. Tuya. Tuya, por favor. Vale.
Very good manners there by Alvi Regalado, saying please to Jose Salazar to hit the ball. We like that good sportsmanship, especially to your partner. Patty, do you feel the tempo of this match has changed a little bit in the second set?
I do, a little bit. Speeding up a little bit, Dave?
It's speeding up. I think there's definitely a lot more play throughout the middle of the court. There's a lot more touches of the ball by both players, and
40-30.
And again, because I think both teams know what each other is going to do and what it's going to take for them to win the match or stay ahead in the set. And
Game, Regalado, Salazar. Second set is tied 2-all.
Yeah, you can feel it. McNerney and Irdoja have the fight in them, Dave. You can feel it. They have a resolve here, and they plan on taking this 3 sets.
did Salazar just pull that trick out of his hat? That was that was sort of an amazing get.
Yep.
I tell everyone you probably only see like 5 amazing shots a year. We might have to up that number this year because we may have seen 10 so far today.
5 a year, Dave? That's a little conservative.
Well, we don't want people thinking they can do it at will.
See, I love that move by Alvy Regalado over in that, he went up, kind of crawled up that, stepped up that side screen, and he put the drive right in the middle of 2 players. He gave him a chance to make or miss the volley. He didn't go for open space. There's a lot of cross court. He didn't even think about it for a second. He knew what his shot was going to be.
And kind of going back to what we talked about earlier is, even if Regalado hits the ball to an open space and he gets it by Irdoja and McNerney, they're getting the next ball. And so he just took on all the risk of potentially missing the point just to, have the point continue. It's not like if he hit it away from them, the point was going to end.
Dave, club level players, typically, what percent of their overheads are hit flat? Over 70% or under?
Under 70%. Oh, flat over 70%.
Okay. At the highest level in the sport, what percentage are hit flat?
Under 70%.
Way under. Give me a percentage, Dave. I'm leading you to the water here. Drink some and give
Maybe
me a number.
10%, 15%, but
Well, that's the thing. I think it's important when you're watching this match. It's so easy to just sit here as a fan and say, oh, my Lord, these guys are amazing. When you break it down, you look at it a little bit more. What makes them so amazing? How are they able to control, so many of their shots? And, they hit with spin, and the spin allows them to have a lot of controls. And they hit with a variety of spins because they have a variety of grips. So when you get out there and your pro says, hey, work on this grip, or let's work on this grip, they're doing it to give you 3 more shots. If you stick with 1 grip only, you have a limited number of shots that are ever going to be in your arsenal. You got to get a grip, Dave.
that's it. Get a grip. It's the way to go.
Game, Regalado, Salazar. They lead the second set 3 games to 2. Regalado, Salazar won the first 6 games to 3.
Dave, Corian is so excited to partner with the APTA for the 2023-24 season because whether as advisors to our members or as members themselves, they are already part of our APTA community. We just saw that with that nice interview with Jenny Sowers. Learn more at www.corian.com, the official wealth sponsor of the APTA. Dave, coming up, Medina, October 19th and 20th. Then we head to Baltimore, weekend of October 26th. Then we go to Chicago Charities at the beginning of November, the first Grand Prix event of the year. Speaking of Grand Prix, we've got 4. Second one is the Pure Michigan Grand Prix, December 14th and 15th. Then we come back to the hood, Jersey again, for another amazing Short Hills Invitational Grand Prix event, February 8th through 9th. And the Nationals this year, March 7th through 9th, hosted in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, by the Cricket Club. Bruce and his team, Bruce Redpath. Oh my Lord, they're all over this. They were up in Boston, Dave, last year at Nationals, trying to figure out how to make every Nationals bigger and better than the one before, and they've got a tall task on their hands. But I think Bruce and his team, Sue Darty, shout out to Sue, have some great plans, and saw Sue last week up at paddle camp at Glen Falls Country Club, and she went over. They already have every court assignment. They already know the timing of every match at Nationals, Dave. How incredible is that?
They're prepared, to say the least. That it's definitely helped them in the long run, but that's you like to hear that enthusiasm from the tournament directors, especially for such a big event like the Nationals.
Yeah, and Sue confided that they're going to have like a special lounge chair for you, Dave, as a commentator. I mean, you're going to be in that trailer. You're going to have your own lounge chair.
Perfect. I can't wait.
Cup holders, no cigars, though, in the trailer.
Hey, again, I think we're seeing Regalado and Salazar, again, tighten things up a little bit, get a little stingier with mistakes. And again, I can't say enough how much I love that he just kept Pepper in the middle of the court, and, don't let Regalado and Salazar off the hook by hitting a ball wide or hitting it past them wide, and make them have to keep volleying that ball from the big Irdoja forehand.
And it's really, again, it's Regalado was in the middle there, like more of a volley position, let's call it, defending the middle with his backhand. And, that's where the success Irdoja has had, is when he can pick that spot a little bit to the right side of Jose Salazar. It seems like that's the setup that's repeating itself over and over here. We just talked about Bruce Redpath and his crew. How about Patty Topping and her efforts on behalf of Montclair Golf Club to run this event? I mean, she thinks of everything. She just is hitting it out of the park this weekend. Phenomenal effort from Patty Topping and her team.
No, it's been a great event. Again, beautiful weather, a lot of great matches. We have a nice crowd set up here courtside watching the action. And, I've heard nothing but great things from everyone.
See, that's the spot, and he's nailing it, and you can see slight hesitation, because that's where Salazar does like to flip his paddle, Dave, a lot to his forehand. And, Irdoja forehand, one of the few guys that can break that down. They can break them down with that spot drive to that spot.
Right, and even, to your point, to, continue it, like you look at that last return of serve, it was a big return of serve, but it was to Salazar's right, and he just made the easy decision to let it go, play it off the back screen, where, if Irdoja brings that forehand down the middle, maybe you get Regalado to go for it and maybe create a mistake from there. So we'll see how it plays out, but, I think Irdoja and McNerney have to stay patient here. We're getting into the later part of the second set. I don't think they can let Regalado Salazar, gain any separation and then have to try to fight their way all the way back.
See a little more of the slice. I like that overhead from Irdoja, Dave. Versus the roller, only because Salazar defends it so well and is so consistent.
Right, and I think he's seen a million of them. And again, you know, people are going to laugh, but he's getting used to it, and it's becoming easier for him to pick it up, and maybe a little bit of a indecision there that I'm sure Salazar would like to have that one back. Good hands there by Albi Regalado. Insane. Come up with a big volley at a break point here.
Dave, how many errors has Regalado made so far in this match?
I'm going to say less than 5. You know, he hasn't made many.
Should Irdoja take a shot right at Salazar in that deuce court? You know, he's kind of going around him now. He's bring the slice overheads into it. You see him, Salazar letting the ball go through. I think now's the time to unload on one at him. You know, a little flatter, perhaps. It's risky.
It's risky.
Might be the time for it.
And again, I think at some point they want to try to get Jose Salazar out of his comfort zone a little bit. You know, it doesn't really look like he's comfortable, but, you know, he's getting a million balls back. He's doing a great job. And, you know, I think if they were to hit one hard at him or change it up a little bit, you know, you kind of take away the expected as to what's coming back.
Incredible patience and discipline from Regalado over in that ad court, Dave. He's not getting a lot of looks. And he's just, you know, he's not looking to be overly aggressive at all. He's passing up an opportunity to go for it. Keeping a million balls in play.
All right, break point saved there.
Advantage, Irdoja McNerney.
Viene, viene.
Deuce.
See McNerney attempting to blitz there. Good overhead there by Jose Salazar.
Advantage, Regalado, Salazar.
Ahora. Bien.
Game, Regalado, Salazar. They lead 4-2, second set.
Huge game right there, Dave.
Big hold there, saved 2 break points to get us back on serve. And this is what I was talking about, where I don't know if Irdoja and McNerney want this separation here.
They do not. That's why when you look at the APTA national rankings, Salazar and Regalado are the #1 ranked team in the country.
That last overhead, I think I would have liked to have seen Irdoja take that and hit it back to Salazar again. He had him in a little bit of trouble, and I think switching the ball kind of let him off the hook a little bit.
Love 15. Love 30.
Isn't that the way it works? You play this long, great match, and at 2-4 serving, 2 leg cords.
Game, Regalado, Salazar. They lead the second set 5-2. Regalado, Salazar won the first, 6-3.
Dave Regalado, I think he is such a phenomenal player. I mean, just talking about him and what he brings to the table, I don't know if he's made 3 errors in this match. And he's played with such composure and discipline when he gets the hits, and you could feel it in that game. He was going after it, a little lucky leg cord perhaps, but he was bringing the heat. He was going for it. He's going to win the point. And I was just thinking about, these guys are amazing front runners in our sport. When they get the lead, they do not let up at all.
And I think some of the unknowns that you don't see, to your point, he hasn't tried to insert himself into this match. We've watched, and Irdoja and McNerney definitely have a plan that they're going to, play it to Salazar's corner. And, he hasn't tried to insert himself. He's hit the shots that he should. He's made a lot of really good decisions. And I think, that's another reason why Salazar's been playing so well is, knowing that Regalado has the confidence in him, and he's not trying to get involved when he doesn't need to, and just kind of wait for his shot and his opportunity.
Dave, I remember watching these guys play. Remember at the Montclair event last year? And I'd never seen Alvy play, Regalado, and we were watching. I forget who he played in that tournament. That was the one where Salazar didn't even have enough ranking points to qualify with his partner. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
on
I
the
do.
side court over there.
I think.
Thomas Noel?
No. I think they were playing Araya and McNerney.
Oh, it was a Ryan McNerney match.
I think so. Yeah, and it was tough, rainy match and rainy day out here, and yeah, they wound up. Araya and McNerney wound up winning in 3, but it was a pretty amazing match by everybody that was out there.
Yeah, Ryan McNerney, actually. I'm just seeing it. They won 6-3 in the third. Regalado won the second set in that match in a tiebreaker.
All right, Patty, we have a match point number 1 here. All right, Patty, I'm going to head out to the court, and I'll be right back with you. Hold on 1 second.
You bet. Just an incredible performance there by Regalado and Salazar. I mean, we just watched something special. You can see why they are the #1 team in the country. They just give nothing away. When they get the lead, they know how to pounce. They know how to keep it going. Great tournament for tournament director, host pro, Mick Irdoja, teaming up with Graham McNerney for this. Incredible match, incredible athleticism from all players, phenomenal shot making, and kudos to Regalado and Salazar picking up after that finals appearance in nationals last year, winning the first tournament of the year, and at the end of the season, I fully expect to see them in the final circle again, men's nationals, looking for their first national title.
All right, and a great men's final to conclude the 2024 Montclair Open. We would love to get out here our finalists, Mick Irdoja, host pro, tournament director on the tournament committee, as well as Graham McNerney. We have some prizes for them from our tournament director, Patty Topping. All right. And then also congratulations to them as well, and congratulations to our champions, Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar. I will say it one more time. These guys don't do anything fancy. They just win. Boys, congratulations. And Patty has some trophies for you. If you guys want to come on over and say a few things, congratulations. You guys have to be excited to start out the season coming up with a win. I think Graham and Mick had a great semifinal win over Powers and Nunez. Did that change the way you planned for this match, or did you guys just kind of stick to what you've been doing the last couple of years to get you here?
Well, I think Jose and I, our game plan is pretty basic. I think there's no secret. It doesn't change, it's just sticking together, and being a team is one of the most important things with us. And shout out to them. They're such a great team. I'm so glad to see Mick Irdoja back on the tour always. And Graham is so solid. So just really enjoying playing next to this guy, and sticking to our plan, and nothing fancy, just trying to win.
That's something to be said about that. When we were out watching the match and live streaming it, they decided it looked like Mick was hitting a lot of rollers into the forehand corner, and Jose, you did an amazing job defending, getting a lot of balls back, and I think it was a big part of the success. And just tell us what you think, what were you thinking out there? It never looked like you were flustered. You just kept making a million balls until you got your opportunity.
Well, when you have this guy next to you and they can finish a point on his side, they're going to have to go to the deuce. But Mick was hitting an amazing roller, and the goal was to try to take a lot of balls off the deck. So take a little bit of time away from them and waiting for the opportunity. We got a little bit behind on the second set, missing a couple shots, but the strategy was to stay in the point, stay one more shot and waiting for the opportunity. And if we didn't have the opportunity, just try to make one more lob.
All right, well, congratulations again on our champions.
I'd like to say
Hold on one second,
one
please.
more thing. I want to say hi to my Orange Lawn people. Rock all TC, baby. We keep on going.
And of course, hi to everybody at the Stanwich. Very proud to represent the Witch.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you again for tuning in. That's a wrap from the 2024 Montclair Open.
You let me know. You know I will drop everything at a moment's notice.
Maybe short hills.
Oh,